Okay, well, good evening, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. Good evening. My name is Mark Luke. I'm a member of the Boardman Civic Association. I thank President Meg Harris for pinch hitting for me. Earlier in the evening, I had a work conflict, so you have to tolerate me for the rest of the evening. I apologize in advance for that. We had a great dinner. Let's give a round of applause to the Holiday Inn and their staff. We'd also like to thank the Boardman Schools Television Network, who is here this evening, taping our dinner for rebroadcast, and we'd like to thank Joyce Mistovich, Brandon Jackson, and Matthew Welton for being here this evening. Thank you very much. A few elected official introductions. With us this evening is Boardman trustee Tom Costello. Tom? Mahoney County Area Court and Boardman Judge Joseph Hauser. Judge. And Mahoney County Auditor Ralph Meacham. Thank you. It's my pleasure to reintroduce to you Meg Harris to give us some information about the Boardman Civic Association.
Thank you. You don't know the sigh of relief when I saw his face come in tonight. So, this is much more his deal than mine. So I wanted to introduce the Boardman Civic Association board members. They're such a lovely team to work with, and anyone who knows anything about the Boardman Civic Association knows that the people who are on the board are absolutely phenomenal. They really are team players. They are good decision makers. They put a lot of thought into the decisions that are made about our community and about, of course, tonight. So please, I would like to introduce everybody. Vice President George Ferris. Our Treasurer Jeff Barone. Secretary Mark Luke, of course. Attorney Marty Bushy. She's the one that puts this wonderful event together. Stephanie Landers. Karen McCallum. Kathy McNabb Welsh, who is in Napa Valley right now. We're all a little jealous right now. Tim Saxton, who some of you should probably know pretty well. Rick Schaefer. Dan Siegel, who is here. Joe Sylvester Jr. Tommy Testa. And Kevin Willis. So thank you for being such a wonderful team of people to work with. I will tell you a little bit about Boardman Civic Association, and I have to put my glasses on, so pardon me. It's a group of local business, civic, and community leaders who are interested in the general welfare and development of Boardman Township. We have quarterly meetings to receive updates on matters in the township, as well as news on the schools, the park systems, and the business environment. The BCA promotes community pride through our annual building awards and Citizen of the Year awards presented at our March dinner, which we just had, a local election dinner of the candidates and issues, which is held in September, and of course our scholarship dinner recognizing the graduating honor students. We also have a dinner in October that we choose a topic that's relative to our area, and we hope to give information to the residents in our area. The membership, in case any parents are interested, is $85 for a membership for the Boardman Civic Association. It does include all of your dinners. This is a nice place to network, to have fellowship, and of course fine dining, so thank you Holiday Inn. The membership information is available on our website if you're interested in joining. So thank you so much. Enjoy your dinner, and congratulations to all of the kids here. Thank you.
Terrific. Thank you, Meg. The organization has been around since 1950. It may surprise some of you, and over the years we've done a lot of great things, including this dinner here tonight, so we're excited to be involved. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Jeff Barone. Jeff will be presenting the Lifetime Achievement Award. Jeff?
I don't need my glasses, I just print in like 18 font, so you can probably see that from back there. That's how I cheat the system. So good evening. Tonight it is my pleasure to present the 2017 Boardman Civic Association Lifetime Achievement Award to a very deserving Mr. Frank Lazzari. Frank was originally a Western Pennsylvania guy from a very small town called Rural Valley. Rural Valley is a town of 2.1 square miles and a population of less than 1,000 people. He graduated from, sorry, wasn't big enough font. He graduated from Chinook Valley High School in 1968 and attended college at Slippery Rock, where he received a Bachelor of Science in Education in 1972. More importantly, he met his wife Charlene on a blind date as she became his college sweetheart. Frank was hired by the Boardman Local School District in 1972 as he and Charlene successfully jumped the border to Ohio at the young age of 21. He received his Master's in Education Supervision from Kent State in 1975, a Master's in Library and Information Science from Kent State University in 1979, and his final Master's in Educational Leadership Administration from Youngstown State University in 1990. Frank enjoyed 44 years in public education with the Boardman Local School District as a librarian, a media and technology coordinator, a principal at Market Street Elementary School, a coach of 7th grade basketball and track at Glenwood Middle, where he coached with American history teaching legend John Moore, and most recently for 12 years serving as our superintendent. Frank retired from that position June 30th of 2016. During his tenure as superintendent, the district maintained academic excellence and fiscal responsibility. Frank is most proud of leading the district through the challenges following the Great Recession of 2008. He recalls attending a seminar in Columbus after he was hired as superintendent, where the speaker told the group that they were about to enter the toughest decade to be a superintendent, and boy was he right. He has nothing but kind words for the school board that cared about the students and the staff, and is proud to say, although positions were cut back, he didn't have to lay off any teachers. He extends his kind words to the many outstanding and dedicated teachers in the district, as well as the community and students for their support over many years. Frank was a member and past president of the Mahoning Valley chapter of the Phi Delta Kappa, a professional educational organization. He is a daily Mass attendee at St. Dominic's Church and a proud member of St. Charles Church. He is a longtime supporter of the Boardman Relay for Life and is the 2017 event chair. He is also the past president of our very own Boardman Civic Association. He resides in Boardman with his wife Charlene. They have 3 children, Lucia, Anthony, and Gabrielle. Lucia lives in Brooklyn, New York, with her husband Reedy and 2 children, Sabina and Priska, and I'm reminded that the children's names were Italian saints. Their son Anthony is getting married in September and is attending graduate school at The Ohio State University. The youngest daughter, Gabrielle, is married to Thomas, and they have 3 children, Mackenzie, Catherine, and Thomas III. They live in Avon. Before we bring Frank up here, I would like to say, especially to our students, if you pay attention throughout your personal and professional lives, you will bump into people that by knowing them will make you a better person. These people are special because they put the interest of others in front of their own interests, and they treat people the way they would like to be treated. Knowing Frank Lazzari has made me a better person, and I am very grateful that our paths crossed in 1979. Me as a 5th grader at Glenwood Middle School, and Frank as my librarian. So with that, it is our pleasure to present Mr. Frank Lazzari with the 2017 Boardman Civic Association Lifetime Achievement Award.
I do have a few remarks. Last month, I received the Past President's Award, and President Sister Mary Margaret came up and she went on and on and on, and she had me so off balance I didn't know what to say and didn't say anything, and I felt bad. So I'm making up for it this month. I first of all want to recognize our students. I am so proud to have you and your parents and your families here tonight. You have accomplished so much and worked so hard. I am so proud of you, having been part of your lives, many of you, when I was often at the high school, when I was your superintendent. So my hat's off to you. Congratulations, students and parents. I want to thank the Boardman Civic Association for this award and all they do for this Boardman community. I wish especially to thank my wife, who can't be here tonight. She's off babysitting in Brooklyn, New York. My daughter's boss came into town. It's my grandchildren's spring recess. And so I'm supposed to be there also. So I flew my wife off this morning and said, you take care of them, I'll join you there on Thursday. So my wife of 45 years has been such a support of me throughout my career and putting up with my many, many faults. I thank the Boardman Civic Association for all the good they do in this community. And President Meg Harris, Sister Mary Margaret, as she's better known as, and the entire leadership of the Boardman Civic Association. I came from very, very humble beginnings, and I won't go into and bore you all with this, but education has been very, very important in my life. My grandparents were Italian immigrants. My parents were first generation. My father came from a family of 10 brothers and sisters. My mother, 10 brothers and sisters, and they were the oldest, so they didn't get to go to school. My father dropped out of school in the 5th grade. My mother dropped out of school in the 8th grade. Why? To take care of their younger sibs. That's what you did back then. And so from the time I grew up, it was drilled into me, you're going to college, you're going to college, you're going to college. Whereas today, you know, it's just accepted. You're going to college, and you know, in Boardman, 85–90% of the kids go to college. It wasn't that way back, not too many years ago, when I graduated from high school in whatever it was. Too often, we take the simplest things in life for granted. I've always through my life, had it's kind of corny, but an attitude of gratitude, because from where I grew up, there was so much poverty. It was the coal mines were shutting down. Everybody was on welfare. So everything I got in life, I was so I humbly accepted and you know, just gave praise for it. The simple things in life. The freedoms we have in this country, this great country. We're at political strife right now, but we got the best nation in this entire world. We take things for granted. We take our parents for granted. How often do we say, thanks, Dad, thanks, Mom, for helping with my homework. Thanks for picking me up after swim practice. Thanks for keeping my supper warm. I mean, I did the same thing. I rarely thank my parents. So don't take your parents for granted, your grandparents for granted. Be grateful for those simple things in life. Mentors have been so important. I wouldn't be up here today I would never have been superintendent, never would have been principal if it weren't for those mentors, those people in my life who believed in me, encouraged me. And it goes back to Chuck Benioff, one of my first principals back in, I think I wasn't more than a 4th or 5th year teacher, and he says, why don't you apply for this administrative job? I said, Mr. Benioff, I don't even have a degree in administration. And he said, go for it, get the experience, go through the interview, so forth and so on and so on. That was back in, oh boy, about 78, and I didn't become a principal until 96, a little bit of a gap. So Chuck Benioff, great mentor to me. Dick Selby pulled me out of the middle school to bring me to the high school, believing in me, wanted to help mentor and nurture me. Don Daly, one of the greatest educators ever to come out of Boardman, another mentor of mine. Larry Saxon took a chance, never a principal before. I was a librarian, I was a media specialist, I was a technology person, took a chance and said, you're ready for a principalship. And Edison Lugaville, I don't know, everybody knows Edison Lugaville. I never worked for the guy, but Mr. Barone said there are those people in your life that are models of how we should act, models of how we should conduct ourselves, models of what we want to be as a person. Edison Lugaville, one of my models, great guy. The Boardman community is a great community. I'm not bashing where I grew up at all, but we take this community for granted. We've got a great school board here that cares about kids, that makes decisions for kids. Our trustees, wow, working together as a team for the betterment of this community. We've got safety forces, the fire, the police. We've got so much going for us here in this Boardman community that we often take it for granted and overlook it. So, and a park system between Boardman Park and Mill Creek Park that's second to none. And we have to have that same attitude of gratitude about where we're growing up here, where we're living. Boardman hiring me was a blessing. I kind of feel guilty accepting this award because I feel that I've taken more from this community than I'll ever be able to give back. When I got into education, I always wanted students to have a voice. And listening to my group right here, it was great. We were talking about where we're going to college, talking about the AP test coming up, talking about living a healthy life and what contributes to a healthy life. Great topics. I think back when I was growing up, it was, be quiet, don't speak unless you're spoken to. And I was kind of cowered into the corner. I would never open up to a group of older folks or folks my age, should I say. Guilty pleasures. Now that I'm retired, people come up to me all the time and say, what do you do in retirement? And it's a long story. But a couple guilty pleasures in retirement have been, I discovered morning national news. And so I watch, I don't even know what network it is, Charlie Rose and whatever channel that is. And recently, I think it was last week before last, Nora O'Donnell was interviewing a fellow by the name of James Ryan. I don't know how many of you caught this, or maybe you've read the book. He's the dean of Harvard Education's Graduate School of Education. Ryan wrote a book inspired by a commencement speech that he gave last year, and you may have seen this. My other guilty pleasures, YouTube, by the way. I love watching the rock groups of the 60s and 70s that I never got a chance to see. But Ryan gave this commencement speech, and he wrote a book, and the name of the book is Wait, What? And Life's Other Essential Questions. In the address, Ryan celebrates the art of asking the right question. It's not about answers, it's asking the right question. Einstein once said, and I quote, "If I had an hour to solve a problem and my life depended upon it, I would spend the first 55 minutes determining the right question to ask." And once I knew I had the proper question, I could solve that problem in 5 minutes. And that premise is what Professor Ryan, or Dean Ryan, wrote a speech on, the 5 essential questions. And you can look it up on YouTube, 5 essential questions, James Ryan. Or he wrote the book based upon that. And those 5 questions are, wait, what? And I won't get into the particulars. You'll have to go onto the YouTube, and just as I did. The second question, couldn't we at least, whether you love him or hate him, President Trump is trying to come to some consensus. You got the Dems, you got the Reds, the Republicans, and we can't get along. We can't make decisions. And so the second question, couldn't we at least? Third question, how can I help? And we've got students here, we were talking about Relay for Life. We got kids up here, NHS, who will be participating in Relay for Life. And we got 24-hour walkers here who will be going around that track, raising money and supporting a great cause, coming up with that moonshot of coming up with a cure for cancer. How can I help? Third question, what truly matters? And kind of self-explanatory. If you get a chance, once again, look it up on YouTube, and I think you'll be a better student, a more productive employee, and a better person. Finally, a couple more sentences here. Ryan has a bonus question. He talks about a friend of his that he was in college with passing away, and on the program at the commitment ceremony, they had this poem written on there by Raymond Carver. Raymond Carver is he's deceased now, a short story writer and a poet. And he wrote this in his last days when he was dying of lung cancer. And this was, as Ryan referred to it, the bonus question. The poem goes like this. And did you get what you wanted from life? Even so. Now, what's the even so? Even so, the obstacles that you faced, the challenges, those AP tests that you didn't have to take, but you took anyhow, the difficult courses you didn't have to take, but you took anyhow. And did you get out of life what you wanted even so? I did. And what did you want? To call myself beloved and to feel myself beloved on earth. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Jeff, and thank you very much, Frank, and sincere congratulations to you. Appreciated those words from you. You and my father were peers in education at Boardman, and you were a good friend to him, and I appreciate that, and then we became good friends. So I had the opportunity to know you twice in my family, and I appreciated that. Thank you very much. At this time, we'll have our presentation of students. The criteria to be invited to tonight's scholarship dinner: a 2017 graduate, we're taking that on faith. Okay, here, take a minute. Look, big dinner? That's not a bad joke. Anyway, Boardman residents. This year we have Boardman resident students from Boardman, Cardinal Mooney, Ursuline, and Valley Christian High Schools. They all have at least a 3.5 grade point average or above. There were 124 students who earned that grade point average of 3.5 and above in Boardman this year. I'm going to ask Marty Bushy and Meg Harris to please come forward to hand out the gifts. As I read your name, please come forward to be recognized and accept gifts from the Boardman Civic Association and our partners. One of them is a 2 gigabyte flash drive that we know will be used for academic purposes only. All right, so no problem there. I will do my best to pronounce your name. Please feel free to correct me when you come forward if I make a mistake. At the end of each school list, if your name is not read, please then come forward and we will announce you. We ask you to hold your applause until the end of the student introductions. We do ask the students to process down this aisle, come forward here, then make the turn and go back down that aisle, much like your commencement that's coming up in a few weeks. Good. Okay, starting the student names. Kwabena Adupoku. Nathaniel Ahms. Kaylin Anderson. Nicholas Augustine. Catherine Bodemer. Morgan Brandt. Elizabeth Chiarello. Dante Colaluca. Nicholas DiGiacomo. Lauren Gabriel. Taylor Hallowell. Caitlin Hosa. Joshua Jenkins. Jacob Kohuth. Mackenzie Condis. Madeline Krasnaski. Robert Lewis. Matthew Maroney. Jessica Mowry. Nicholas Wimay. Jacinta Picunas. Michaela Ramirez. Jessica Rauschenberg. Courtney Segul. Maria Sarah. Erica Shirilla. Mark Smaldino. Stephen Stanko. Aaron Straker. Maria Sulebi. Lynn Tran. Rohan Bengal. George Wallace. Kayla Welton. Are there any other Boardman students that I missed this evening? Yes. Please come forward. I'm going to need your names, please. Yes. Sophia Schuler. Simon Pusateri. Alex King. John Ryan. Matthew Hillard. Nicole Enright. I apologize for missing that off of my list here. Congratulations. One more? Yes. Pardon? Abigail Evans. Terrific. Thank you. Okay, next we have Cardinal Mooney High School students. Michael Phillips. Mark Riccardi. Jake Weber. Any in attendance this evening? Okay. Ursuline High School, James Kerrigan. And Valley Christian High School, Annalise Samuel. Any other students that we have missed in our list here? Well, let's recognize these students for all of their hard work. It was in 1990 that Elaine Mancini and Dr. Bob Johnson organized and led the effort to start this academic achievement banquet. The idea was a fantastic one, to recognize and support the hard work of graduating Boardman resident high school seniors. Co-chairing that first dinner were Fred Davis and Dr. Johnson, and the guest speaker was Judge Joseph Hauser, in attendance here this evening. 2 $500 scholarships were awarded to Becky Meddy and Jacqueline Marino, and Jacqueline is our keynote speaker this evening. At the time of the first dinner, Elaine Mancini was quoted in the Youngstown Vindicator article saying, "We feel these students deserve recognition, and we are proud to begin this tradition of honoring superior scholastic students." Well, begin it did, and has been continuing and flourishing for 27 years. Jacqueline Marino grew up in Boardman, graduated from Cardinal Mooney High School in 1990, attended Kent State University, double majoring in journalism and political science, working in news weeklies in Memphis and Cleveland before going to graduate school at Johns Hopkins University, graduating in 2002 with a master's degree in nonfiction. Jacqueline is an associate professor of journalism at Kent State University, where she teaches courses in magazine writing, the business of publishing, and media ethics. Her nonfiction stories and essays have appeared in many publications, including Cleveland Magazine, the Christian Science Monitor, and River Teeth, a journal of narrative nonfiction. Her academic research has been published in journalism and literary journalism studies, among other journals. She is the author of White Coats, 3 Journeys Through an American Medical School, and the co-editor of Car Bombs to Cookie Tables, the Youngstown Anthology, a compilation of stories, photographs, and poems about Youngstown by people from Youngstown. She is married to Mark Namick, a columnist at Cleveland.com. They had 2 children, Stella, 12, and Charlotte, 9, and live in Northfield, Ohio. Please welcome back to this year's scholarship dinner one of the original 2 award winners, Jacqueline Marino.
Thank you, Mark, for that great introduction. I am so grateful to be here today. I'm grateful to the Boardman Civics Association for inviting me to address all of you. It's so wonderful seeing so many high-achieving students and all the people that support you. It's just wonderful to be here. I'm also, of course, very grateful to the Boardman Civics Association for awarding me one of these scholarships. One of the first 2. I didn't realize that was the first year that they gave those away until they asked me to do this. That's great. That was 1990 when my dreams were almost as big as my hair. And I'll tell you, it was a really big year. It was the beginning of the last new decade of the 20th century. And the Berlin Wall was coming down, uniting Germany. It was the year Nelson Mandela was freed in South Africa after serving 27 years in prison for wanting to end apartheid, for wanting blacks and whites to live as equals. It was also the year President Bush said he never liked broccoli, which was about the only thing back then that I could agree with him on. I was obsessed with current events back then. I used to steal my father's Time magazine before he knew it arrived in the mail, and I would just absorb it cover to cover. I couldn't learn enough about national or international issues, but did I read the Vindicator? No. No, I wanted to know nothing about about my immediate environment. I just wasn't interested. I wanted to get out. I wanted to leave. I was going to be an international jet setter. I was going to maybe be an international lawyer or join the CIA. I had all of these big dreams at that time. And I suspect that many of you have dreams of leaving, and maybe some of you are planning on leaving very soon. I have to say that if you do leave, that's what young people do. Young people are typically very restless and want to go out in the world. And because you're from this area, because you're from the Youngstown area, my guess is you have kind of a complicated relationship with your hometown. I know I certainly did. With the steel town turned crime town, turned comeback town, it's a complicated place to be from, and it's easy to want to leave. It wasn't until I left, though, that I realized how wonderful Boardman was, what an incredible community it was to grow up in. We biked everywhere when we were kids. We we had explored the woods, we made forts, my sister and I had incredible Barbie adventures, we did things with Barbies that Mattel never imagined. And I'm sure if you went to our old house in Jaguar Place, you'd probably still find Barbie shoes buried in the dirt there. I had a great childhood. I went to St. Charles Elementary, had wonderful friends, people I still see today, people I still am in touch with today. Tommy Testa, his mom used to babysit me. His sister used to babysit. I mean, we grew up together, and there's something about this place. When you go out in the world, there's just a connection that I think you'll find that's very strong. You have very strong roots here. My grandparents' house, we used to go there and we had the two B's, Bocce and Biscotti. And it was just incredible. As you know from that wonderful introduction, I never did become an international jet setter. I never did join the CIA or get a law degree. I became a journalist. I became a finder of flaws, a quarter of conflicts. In 2015, I even edited that book that you mentioned, Car Bombs to Cookie Tables, about other people's complicated relationships with their hometown. So you see that sort of, it's a real interest that I have. And I'll tell you, it was the best project that I've done. I had 41 contributors. They were poets, photographers, lots of essayists. And it was so exciting and wonderful to see how other people thought about their hometowns. And some of the people in that book, the filmmaker Eric Murphy, he wrote about his fixation with gin trafficking, and it actually became a documentary film that is out right now, actually, Trafficking, the Punishment of Crime Town. Carly Tressel wrote about the sort of suburb-city divide of her childhood. It's a fabulous essay. Ed O'Neill, the actor Ed O'Neill, wrote about his father's failed Christmas tree business. I mean, it was just, there's just so much good stuff that I got to read about and really see how other people, what it was like for them to live in this place. When we had the launch party, we had a launch party for the book at the B&O 2 years ago, actually, next month, and I asked everybody that was there. A lot of the contributors came from all over the country. People came from Louisiana and Denver, and asked them all to step forward, to be recognized. And it was just like a reunion. It was like a big reunion. We had formed this community around this book. Community is so incredibly important. I didn't realize it when I was your age. I didn't realize how important community was. It is. And there's community in this place right here tonight. We're all a community drawn together by the Boardman Civic Association. And one thing that is so incredibly cool about what we're here tonight to do is, you're being celebrated by this organization because you're good at learning, because you're good learners. There's so many scholarships out there for people who are good athletes or people that have potential in a particular professional field, but to be celebrated because you did well academically, because you're good at learning things. That is really, really something. I applaud you, and I applaud the Boardman Civics Association for doing this every year for 27 years. It really is remarkable. I wrote a book about medical students. I followed 3 medical students through Case Western Reserve University School of Medicine. And it was really interesting to me how quickly those students, those learners, they were, you can't go to medical school if you're not good academically, if you're not a good learner. It just surprised me how quickly they became teachers. There's a saying in medicine, learn one, do one, teach one. And that was something that really stuck with me. Here are these students, and they're learning how to do a procedure, and then they're having to turn around and do it. And then they're having to turn around and teach somebody else. By the time they got to the 4th year, they were teaching the first years all that they knew. And it was just, it's really something. Every doctor is a teacher. I think that the teaching is something that we should all do, and especially you. You are great learners. And you have to keep asking questions. And I really appreciated Mr. Lazuri's, talk about asking the right question. I'm a journalism professor. That's what I'm trying to get my students to do. I'm constantly telling them to ask questions. I'm constantly telling them to get out of comfort zones and talk to people that aren't like them. people that can teach them things. You know, I'm telling them to be brave, to do all the things that we tell people to do in journalism, to be the voice of the voiceless and the watchdog of the powerful. Journalists are not the most popular people. I mean, the fact that you have a journalist that, you know, I'm addressing you today is kind of unusual. You know, usually we're not the most popular people in the room. But as the late screenwriter and newsman once said, his name's Ben Hecht, he said, journalists, you know, they're not the most popular people, but they know the world is round. Okay, so we're good to keep around. Okay, we're good to keep around because we ask the right questions, or we should. In closing, I just want to tell all of you, I mean, you are entering a world right now that is changing so much faster than the one I was entering in 1990. I was lucky to see the Berlin Wall come down. You all may see a new wall rise to our southern border. Technology speeding ahead so fast. Terrorism has us all on edge. I suspect many of you will disagree with our new president, or do disagree with our new president as much as I disagree with President Bush. That's fine. That's fine, you know. You will find your place in this world, and when you do, don't forget about the people, you know, the community that helped make you into the people that you are becoming. If I hadn't read so many Time magazines, you know, as a teenager, I probably wouldn't have gone on to write for magazines and eventually become a journalism professor, and I have my dad to thank for that. If I didn't have people believe in me, I may not have taken the risks that I've taken. You know, I may not have, you know, moved to a bunch of different cities and written a book and gone to graduate school, but, you know, I had people believing in me, like the Boardman Civic Association believes in you. So, you know, I thank them. You know, gratitude, attitude of gratitude. You were so right about that. It's good to have that. One other quote, the essayist and physician Oliver Wendell Holmes Sr. He said, you know, where we love is home, home that our feet may leave, but not our hearts. And I hope that that's true for you. I hope that wherever you go, you remember that people at home believe in you. And 27 years from now, you know, you could be here at this podium and celebrating the next generation of learners. And I hope if, you know, all you regret is your hairstyle, you know, from back then, you'll have done all right. So thank you again, and good luck out there. And if anybody goes to Kent State, come see me. I'm in Franklin Hall. I'd love to meet you all.
Thank you, Jacqueline. That was terrific. It was terrific. Well, we've had some great speakers here this evening. That's wonderful. And it's, you know, it's that pay it forward concept, you know, or where people give to you because they want to. You don't have to necessarily pay them back, but you pay them back by your success and by the gifts that you were given. So the Boardman Civic Association played a very small part of your life, but you were able to use that, and now you're paying it forward to us by coming here this evening. So we really appreciate that. It's a good message to us all. Well, it's time for our scholarship presentations. I would ask President Meg Harris to come forward. This year, we're pleased to have 8 $750 scholarships to award. That's significant for an organization our size, and we think the dollar amount is significant as well, and will have an impact on all the students. Okay, so we would ask the award winners to come forward one at a time as we introduce them. The first scholarship award goes to Kobe Adupoku. Kobe is from Boardman High School, a National Honor Society member, Spanish club, key club. Sports activities include football team, captain, and track team, and his college major will be pre-law. Kobe, congratulations. Our second award, scholarship award winner is Katie Bodemer. Katie's from Boardman High School, a National Honor Society member, active in tennis and lacrosse, link crew, and student council. Her college major, biology. Congratulations. Our number 3 award winner, Nicole Enright. Nicole is from Boardman High School, active in sports, especially as a lacrosse team member, and her college major, nursing. Congratulations. Number 4, Michael Phillips. Michael Phillips could not be here this evening, I understand. Cardinal Mooney High School, National Honor Society member, Link Crew, Ambassador Club, several sports letters, including cross country and lacrosse, and college major is engineering. Next award winner is Annalise Samuel. Annalise is from Valley Christian High School, National Honor Society member, President's List honoree, initiated peer-to-peer counseling sessions, worship and dance team participant, and college major social work. Congratulations. Our next award winner, Courtney Segul. Courtney's from Boardman High School, National Honor Society member, Panda Leaders Club, band, wind, and jazz ensembles, and drama club. Her college major, communication disorders. Congratulations. Our next award winner, Mark Smaldino. Mark is from Boardman High School, National Honor Society member, Link Crew, Italian Club, and the Boardman Basketball Darrell B. Dolan Award recipient. College major, finance. Congratulations. And our final recipient, Stephen Stanko. Stephen is from Boardman High School, National Honor Society member, Link Crew, Spanish Club, marching band, and jazz ensemble, varsity swimming and tennis, and an academic All-American. College major, finance. Let's give a strong, strong congratulations to all of our scholarship winners. Okay, you need for pictures? Stay there? Okay. You just get to stay there for a minute for some pictures. Okay? Very good. You can be seated again. Thank you. Well, we'll start with our closing comments. You know what? One thing I'm just thinking about your speech, or your talk this evening, I should say, and you were talking about headlines. You know, many things, journalists get picked on us for negative headlines. But news is news. And sometimes news is negative, and there are certain phrases saying why things lead. You know, it's not the 1,000 planes that land at the airport, it's the one that crashes, or other examples. And those things are just the nature of life and the nature of news. This is news here this evening. There are 124 Boardman students with a 3.5 grade point average of above, regardless of the high school they went to. That's a headline. And that's a positive headline. And we should be thankful all of your parents and friends and people that you associate with and your peers that have encouraged you along the way. And don't stop now. But this is a wonderful way to recognize and make good headlines like you were talking about, Jacqueline. Well, thank yous this evening. Of course, we thank the Holiday Inn. We thank the scholarship sponsors. If you have an opportunity or you want to take home the program with you, those are very generous people who have chosen to contribute to our scholarships. We thank, of course, our speaker, Jacqueline Marino, this evening. Thank Tommy Testa for his help in arranging to have her here this evening. Board members from the Boardman Civic Association who did significant help this evening. Meg Harris, Marty Bushy, Denise Leeson, honorary member, Jeff Barone, George Ferris, Stephanie Landers, Dan Segul, and Karen McCallum. And of course, students and families, we thank you for taking your time to be here this evening, allowing us to recognize your children, your grandchildren, whoever may be here this evening, and it was our honor. So thank you for joining us. We've also heard examples of great community leadership and service. Frank Lazzari, Elaine Mancini, Judge Joseph Hauser, and Dr. Bob Johnson. They showed us the way. They started this dinner 27 years ago. They encouraged us to help improve our community. Boardman has an amazing amount of diverse opportunities in almost any area of life, including family activities, education, commerce, healthcare, recreation, community service, and faith. Let's continue to take advantage of these opportunities or try them for the first time and preserve Boardman's motto, a nice place to call home. Thank you for attending. God bless and good night.